How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and if you're on Sprint or if you're on any carrier for that matter, you have a lot of different phone options to choose from. You have Windows Phone, you have Android, you have iOS, and BlackBerry, and you have a slew of different form factors. Touchscreen, physical QWERTY keyboard, sliders, and more. So you may be coming into this, let's say you're a Sprint customer or you're switching to Sprint, and you're like, well, I'm not really sure which form factor is the best for me. Well, we do Dogfight videos, so we can help you figure it out. On Sprint, on one hand, you have the BlackBerry Bold 9930, a new BlackBerry, one of the new 3 BlackBerries that have come out in the past couple of weeks, and it's toting a 1.2 gigahertz processor, 5 megapixel camera, and it's showing the world that it's ready to compete with the big boys on Android and iOS. Then you have one of the flagships, the HTC EVO 3D dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, 3D capabilities with dual 5 megapixel cameras, a front-facing camera, and more. So big display over here, awesome physical QWERTY keyboard over here. So if you're somebody that text messages on a regular basis, maybe this is the one for you. If you use 3D content, you like to shoot pictures, shoot videos, maybe this is the one. But there are a lot of features that are hidden in these devices we're going to figure out in the video. Is this the device for you? Is this the device for you? We'll find out. But first, special thanks to my boys at Best Buy. They hook us up with a bunch of phones like this so we can give them to you in the One Paw Bandit game. So when you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, help you take those 3D pictures and get everything set up so when you walk out the door, you're working. Let's check it out. Bold 9930, EVO 3D, which one's the best? Let's check it out in Dogfight. When I posted up on my Twitter page that I was doing a dogfight between these two videos, a bunch of people were like, why are you doing a dogfight? These are two completely different devices. And that's exactly what I was going for with this dogfight, because on one hand you have the BlackBerry Bold 9930. Now this thing's running a single core 1.2 gigahertz processor. It has a 2.8 inch touchscreen display, so they've kind of bridged the form factor between the 9000 and let's say the Storm by adding that touchscreen. So it's still a 2.8 inch display, so kind of a small landscape display, especially when you're using the browser, pinching to zoom, anything like that. But you do get the touchscreen as well as the trackpad. And then you have a 5 megapixel camera with 720p HD video recording capabilities. No autofocus on this though, and a 1230 milliamp hour battery. But you got a big keyboard here. Now on the EVO side, EVO 3D, you have a 4.3 inch QHD display. So it's a high resolution display, and it's 540 by 960. So you're going to see this kind of elongated device. It's a little bit long and narrow in comparison to the EVO 4G and some of the other kind of thick Android devices on the market, if you will. And then it has a dual 5 megapixel camera set up on the back because of 3D. It has stereoscopic cameras. Like I said, both 5 megapixels, both capable of shooting 720p video in 2D and in 3D. And it has a dual core 1.2 gigahertz processor. 1730 milliamp hour battery on this sucker as well. So, people were like, why are you doing this? Well, I'm telling you why, because both of these are $199.99 on Sprint. You're going to come in, a potential Sprint customer may come in and say, well, both of these are billed as high-end smartphones. Which one should I go with? Which one should I consider when I'm looking to buy a new smartphone? So yes, they are different, but it depends on whether messaging is more important to you or multimedia features are more important to you. But this one's running BlackBerry OS 7. Now 7 is their newest platform. It really is 6.1. It's more of an evolutionary change from BlackBerry 6, which is what we saw on the Torch 9800, the original Torch. And then this is running Android 2.3 Gingerbread, and it's running the latest build of HTC Sense 3.0. So you're getting up to date across the board with the software. It's the latest thing that the respective manufacturers offer, and in the case of HTC, this is the latest Android overlay that HTC offers as well. So let's go across the body here and take a look. Now obviously, just on the design front alone, and give me 1 second, I'm going to unplug this actually so it doesn't continue to shake, so bear with me. There we go. On design alone, the 9930 wins the cake. You can see, they've done a really great job with this. It's the thinnest BlackBerry to date, and you can see this nice metal band around the sides. It's just a good looking device. The black and the metal complement each other really, really well. And it's sexy. It feels good in the hand. I hate to call a piece of technology sexy, but it really is. It feels good in the hand. It's designed well. The keyboard is 6% larger than the Bold 9000s. And it is a great, great keyboard. BlackBerry's always done a great job with keyboards. This is by far the best. They continue to improve. It's one of those things where I'm not sure how you improve great. They managed to do it on the 9930's keyboard and the 9900 as well on T-Mobile. Then on the left side you have your volume rocker, your 3.5mm headphone jack, your micro USB charging port. On this side, rather, you have your volume rocker, and then you have a mute button over here, so you can mute a call when you're in a call or when you're listening to music. You can press this button and quickly turn the music off. And then you have the convenience key over here. So gone are the 2 convenience keys like they had on old BlackBerries. You only get one, but you can customize it to whatever you want it to be. So camera, text messaging, BlackBerry Messenger, etc. And then you have the 5 megapixel camera on the back. And like I said a second ago, no autofocus. So this picture is going to be okay in well-lit situations like this, or you're outside, it's a sunny day, and your shot is far enough away, your person's far enough away. You're going to be fine with this. Autofocus, up close or in the dark, anything like that, low-lit situations, it's not going to be the best. Now, 1,230 milliamp hour battery, like I said over here, it's not going to make it through a day on the CDMA device, at least with moderate use for me. Text messaging, email, and calling wasn't able to make it through the day. Then on this one, you have your micro USB charging port over here, you have your volume rocker. On the right side, you have a 2D, 3D toggle, so whenever you want to switch to take pictures, you have that, and then you have this nice physical camera button as well, which you can set this to camera button as well, so I won't take off points for the BlackBerry not having that. But capacitive buttons down here, you have your front-facing camera up here in the corner, and it's a good design as well. You get a metal housing up here, but because it's black, it kind of disguises the design. So it is metal up here on the top, but then you get this plastic battery cover as well. And one thing I like about this one versus the old EVO is it wraps all the way around the side, so there's no creaking, there's nothing like that when you're using the device on a regular basis. Now I'll pull this off so you can see the battery. You have an 8GB micro SD card. You do not get a micro SD card with the 9930, but one thing I will say is this is global roaming capable. So if you do take it outside of the US, you have a nice high-end BlackBerry that you can use and go to Italy, go to Spain, go to London, etc., and not have to worry about switching devices and then switching back when you return to the States. But you've got your battery back here, and I'll show you just to give you a confirmation, 1,730 milliamp hours. And we'll power that back on. And I know most of you hate it when I do that, but I just wanted to show you. And then we'll power that back on. So BlackBerry 7 over here, and you can see, little's changed from BlackBerry 6, or heck, even BlackBerry 5. I mean, it's all cosmetic when you look at some of the icons. You look at some of the text messaging, or some of the icons like text messaging. You go in here, and you see some of these icon differences. I mean, there's some minor upgrades across the board, but you'll see that the notifications are pretty similar. Now, this one actually has NFC built in, so you can see near-field communication as an option in the connections menu. And by getting to that, to get to that, rather, you just press there, tap that, and it'll bring down Sprint. You have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You can turn all those off when you're in airplane mode and set your alarm. This is kind of your dashboard of sorts, where you have your network abilities, you have Wi-Fi, you have service status, and options as well. Now, to get into options, you'll see some changes here in the menu, especially if you're coming from BlackBerry OS 5.0 and you're migrating up to 7. Now, if you're coming from 6, you're migrating from the Torch to this, not going to see a huge design difference. It's about the same. Your notifications pop in right here, and if you will, let me pull that away. Okay. So you see I have a new mention on Twitter as well. So you can see those will pop up. Any text messaging, missed calls, emails, calendar appointments, things like that will all appear right here. So it's a nice little notifications panel. And when you get messages and emails, things like that, they'll all pop up in little notifications right there. And you have search over here as well. You can easily search the device, and then you have your profiles where you can turn on normal loud. So again, not a lot's changed, but out of the box you get, just to talk about some of the Sprint programs here. Go into media so you can see you get Sprint Radio, NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile, Sprint TV and Movies, Sprint Football Live, Music Plus, and then Slacker Radio as well. And then you get podcasts, which is a BlackBerry thing, out of the box. Now you get VLingo as well. You get Telenav, which was formerly Sprint Navigation, Sprint Zone, so a lot of Sprint goodies pre-installed out of the box with this. And because of the Everything Data plan, all this stuff's included as part of your plan. So sign up for unlimited data, or Everything Data rather, and Sprint TV, Sprint Navigation, that stuff is included as part of your plan. So that's a huge offer in comparison to something like a Verizon that charges $9.99 for VZ Navigator. So just something to keep in mind. Now in applications, you get BlackBerry Protect, Pocket Express, and then you get self-service over here. When I press that up, it's going to connect me to customer service. It's going to show me the vitals of my phone. It's going to show me the phone number. It's going to show me the ESN or the MEID and some of the other essentials of the device. Then you have RIM social feeds over here. Now this is an aggregator of sorts that brings in text messaging, email, or excuse me, Facebook, Twitter, and all of your social networking stuff into one place. So if I were to open that up, it'd bring up Facebook, Twitter, and MySpace, and anything, BlackBerry messages, anything like that. They're all part of kind of the social group of stuff that's on this device. So that's that in a nutshell. Now over here you have Android 2.3 with HTC Sense 3.0, and I'm just going to give a quick run through. It has 7 home screens, and also you can activate the home screens over here, which I did not show you. We'll go over here and we'll do home screen panels. I'm going to turn all these panels back on so you can see what it looks like. I don't care for them, but you have the ability to slide over between favorites, media, and downloads. I found that when I had it in my pocket, I was constantly flipping between, but you get the idea. You can migrate through. So it has some home screens of sorts as well. And then over here you have 7, and it has a typical Sense look and feel to it. Now there are some minor changes. You'll notice some design changes. For example, when I spin really quickly, it's spinning in a carousel-like form factor now. That's something that's new with Sense 3.0. And you'll see down here in the notifications bar, you have a quick settings tab where I can bring over Wi-Fi, Sprint hotspot, mobile network, 4G. I can turn all that on and activate and work with it from there. And now it does have a file manager as well. Instead of downloading Advanced Task Killer, there's a big brouhaha over that, and all these different task killers that are available in the Android market. You have the ability to go to total memory, and I can kill all if there was stuff that was open, and go to refresh from there. Now in the menu in this one, you get some similar Sprint stuff. You get 3D games. You do get Blockbuster on this out of the box with Amazon MP3. You get HTC Hub and likes. Now this is a big one for me because Verizon excludes this from a lot of their devices. I feel like I'm bashing on Verizon, but it's true. They exclude this from their device. HTCsense.com is a place, in short, where you can get, among other things, wallpapers, ringtones, graphics, things like that for your device. So you want a different theme, you want a different wallpaper, you can download stuff from HTCsense.com. Now Verizon on the Thunderbolt and some of their later, the Incredible 2, some of the ones that are capable of accessing it, they've removed that from their devices. So it's nice to see that ability, and among the other things you can do with it, you can sign up where HTC will lock your device if it's stolen. You can broadcast a message, you can remote wipe it, and do some cool things like that. NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile pre-installed, Quick Video, Spider-Man in 3D is pre-installed as well. Sprint Mobile, Sprint Radio, TV and Movies, Sprint Zone, and then down here, actually I missed one, Telenav GPS Navigator as well. Now you get this little menu difference here, and you'll see some changes, especially if you watch my review of the Thunderbolt or some of the older HTC devices. It's very similar to the Sensation, and if you want to check out more, check the review of the Sensation or check the review of this as well. But you have the frequent and downloaded areas as well, where you can see what I've downloaded. You can see the frequently used apps, and I can see all apps by going over there. Now, you get a cool little animated home screen on this one as well. You'll see that this is something that's new to Sense 3.0 as well. I have the weather pre-installed, or the weather loaded up on here, and by bringing up the circle, that's how I unlock it. Now, I can do one of a couple of different things. I can load up, let's say, messages. I can bring messages down in the circle, and when I let go, it'll activate messages directly. So if you have 4 commonly used applications, you can pop those down there in the bottom. Now this can be changed as well through the personalization menu, which is really cool. You do have the ability to change the skin, the wallpaper, the lock screen. So I can change, weather. I can make it default where nothing pops up. I can make it stock quotes. I can make it a clock. I can make it friend stream and pictures and more. So a lot of different opportunities to customize your device. Now let's go into text messaging quickly here so you can see what it looks like. Now BlackBerry, again, physical keyboard over here, the king of messaging, if you will, be it email or text messaging. So we're going to compose a text, and we're going to come down here and say, we're going to do the quick brown fox likes to play in butter. Quick brown fox likes to play in butter. So, there's no on-screen keyboard option here, but this keyboard is phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic. Like I said before, 6% larger than the Bold 9000s. I've gotten so used to typing on this as part of my 30-day BlackBerry challenge. It's just an exceptional keyboard, and it works really well. And then you have the touchscreen as well, so if you want to go back, I like the fact that you can do that, or you can use a trackpad. I find myself using a hybrid of both, but an exceptional keyboard. So if messaging is your thing, this may be the device for you just right out of the gate, because the keyboard here is second to none. If you send a bunch of emails like I do, you send text messages, it's a great option. Then we'll go to messages over here and take a look at what comes pre-installed out of the box. You get 2 options. You get swipe, and you get HTC's touch input keyboard. So we'll do the quick brown fox is happy. Quick brown fox is happy, and you can use this in portrait or in landscape mode, and because it's an elongated 4.3-inch display, pretty easy to use in landscape for those people that have big thumbs like myself. But you get those 2 options, like I said, and because you do have a nice large 4.3-inch display, it's not too bad to type on the on-screen keyboard. I'm going to bring that in a little bit so you can take a look. But still, in comparison to a physical keyboard, in my opinion, nothing else compares to a physical keyboard. Now, features aside, on the keyboard front, the Bold 9930 takes the cake.